Hey everybody, this is Jim Robbins, and this is the first of the video chats that I'll be doing live from the kitchen table, otherwise known as my office. If you could look behind my laptop here, there's a bunch of books and piles of stuff, literally about 7 years worth of journals that I'm combing through for my next book, which is going to be on identity and calling and going beyond our in Christ identity. Every Christian can identify with their union with Christ, but what do you do with the specificity of your own heart, the uniqueness of your gifts, the purpose and intent with which God created you? There's a story and there's a role that you play in the story that is critical and you're needed. And the goal of the book will help us to discover how does God help us heal, restore our wounds, so that we can live in our particular identity. Not just as Christians, not just as those who love God, but particular people. There is nothing general about you. It's all particularity with the gospel. Jesus had a particular calling. Paul had a particular calling. Moses did. But anyway, as I was praying over the content of the book, I asked God, where do you want me to go with this? Because I had an idea, but I wanted to make sure I was also hearing from God. Where do you want to go with this, God? So that I'm not just writing in a direction I think is appropriate, but I need your counsel. So he said, well, what does your own story tell you? And by that, I think he meant go with your story. Your story is what people need to draw from. It's one of the most powerful things about you. It's because your story isn't the story of events. It's not this, well, first I was born in this town, then I went to school, then I graduated here, then I got married, then I got this job. No, it's the story is what was happening to your heart, what was shaping your identity over time. And so our story is what we can offer. So there's going to be a lot of that in the book. I'm going to draw from my journals a lot and try and chronicle for you the development of how God has restored my own sense of identity, and it still is, because there's always more. But there's power in your story. So one of the things we can ask when we think, what do I uniquely offer the world, is, well, what has been the story of the shaping of my identity from the time I was young? My identity, my desires, my passions, what has been happening to the deep heart that God has been trying to draw out and call out over the years. And that takes time. It takes time to see those patterns. But if we don't know our story, we may miss the most critical thing we have to offer. So more next time, and thanks for joining me for this first video conversation. Thanks.